Hey folks, I am in New Bern, North Carolina. I'm here to do some metal detecting. Not quite the type of metal I'm interested in detecting, but if you want to learn a little bit more about New Bern, North Carolina, stay tuned. Let's see what we can discover together. Pretty deep. I think I can zoom it out. Hard to gauge by the photo, but a lot of really cool history here in New Bern, North Carolina. Apparently, President Washington visited the Stanley home here back in 1791. You can see the home behind me, which is surrounded by these just gorgeous, gorgeous gardens. Just a beautiful city here. New Bern, North Carolina. Check it out. I'm at the site of Radham's Pharmacy, the birthplace of Pepsi Cola. Inside here, purportedly, is where the first drink of Pepsi was served in the United States of America. Let's take a look. Okay, given the number of Pepsi Cola bottle caps we all uncover, I thought you would appreciate these particular tables.
No wonder I wrote that so jolly.
I'm digging some curb strips here in New Bern, North Carolina. You can tell these have been here for a while. Look at the granite stone curbs here. Colvin and Henry, 1908, city engineers, I'm guessing. OGM, Carthy, OHM, J. Dryan Mayer, contractors, Newport News, Virginia. Absolutely fascinating. All right, so what have I learned about this interesting find? First of all, if you look at some of the names on this very heavy, what appears to be a bronze plaque, starting up at the top, Colvin and Henry, 1908. These are the city engineers of New Bern at the time. Not been able to dissect this next name, OJM Carthy, exactly what that means, but that is followed by the name of J.A. Bryan, who was mayor at the time. More about him in a moment. Alsop and Pierce, well, they were the contractors. Their contracting company was located in Newport News, Virginia, and they were awarded a fairly large contract at the time for the construction of about 20 miles of concrete sidewalk. However, that work was not done without some controversy. There was some litigation that found its way all the way up to the Supreme Court of North Carolina involving a dispute around the quality of sand that was used in the sidewalk and that apparently resulted in some deficiencies. Now, James A. Bryan, very interesting individual here. He was a soldier, a planter, a banker. He was born in New Bern and served during the Civil War as a major in the Confederate Army. After the war, he came back to New Bern. He became an extensive landowner, apparently a very successful businessman. One quote I found read that everything there not always belonging to God is now owned by Jim Bryan. And what's really interesting, in 1884, he bought the house I was showing you earlier, the historic John Wright Stanley House, the house in which George Washington visited and spent the night. He renovated it, enlarged it, and used it as his residence until the time of his death. Pretty interesting find. I plan on donating this to the Historical Society in New Bern. Right there, I'm getting a vibration here right on the top. Here we go. Modern penny. Here. By the way, I'm using a different digging tool. This is actually a hori-hori knife, a Japanese hori-hori knife, okay? About the same size as my digger, but you see how it's actually curved on one side right here. And it's a little, definitely sharper than my Garrett digging tool, but it's a little easier to carry, a little lighter. It does lack the shield right here that sometimes you can use to press down on, but for these park digs, these are nice to have because frankly they're a little less intrusive, you know, both to dig with, but also from an appearance standpoint. But this is the first time out. You can see it has depth indicators on here as well. Hori-hori tool, H-O-R-I. There's several manufacturers that make these. This is one of two that I purchased. I believe this also has a full tine that goes all the way down to the handle. Pretty solid, pretty sturdy. There we go. Someone asked me about this on the other video, thought it might be a piece of cardboard. It's actually almost like a denim muslin material, a little more durable than a towel. I like it because I can fold it up, you know, to a pretty small space, and I don't even resheath my knife in a park like this. I'm pulling it out so often, so I just put that right in my finder. And I'm sure some of you can do a better job than this, but there's my repaired plug. Left a hinge on, so in the event a lawnmower does come by, the reason why you want to leave a bit of a hinge on your plug is so that the clump of dirt won't get sucked up and thrown away by some of these very powerful lawnmowers. So there we go. Just a few feet away from the last penny, getting something in the 90s here. On these surface finds or near surface finds, in addition to your pin pointer on your detector, this is also sometimes nice to do, is to just use your handheld pin pointer as well to maybe verify it. This pulse induction pin pointer, depending upon the coin, will work, you know, in many cases 3 inches, 2 inches. So this allows me to kind of dig a smaller plug right here, right in this location here. Here we go, I can feel something in there. Here it is, right there. Do you see it, folks? I hear it coming out. Looks to be a state quarter, I'm guessing. All right, what we have is a 2005 state quarter featuring Oregon. Oregon became a state 1859, I believe. High 70s, low 80s. Here we go. That's more like it. That's what I would have expected a dime to be sounding like in the 70s. I found a couple pennies here already in the 70 range, but VDIs I'm talking about. This is the first dime though. That's what I would have expected. Another state quarter here. Beautiful day. A lot of clad in this park. Repaired plug. Okay, so I have to tell you a funny story here. I pulled over my vehicle very quickly when we saw the redcoats driving by and grabbed my camera and jumped out of the car, left my brother-in-law, sister-in-law in the car, and thinking I would just go take a quick photo, which that was my intention. But my brother-in-law decided to hop in the driver's seat and move the car because I was in a temporary location I shouldn't have been in. And unbeknownst to him, I had the keys with me. And I think the car will only operate over a certain distance for a certain period of time if the keys are not within the vehicle. So I'm actually trying to find him right now walking around the block. Wish me luck.